important channel, important channel, Amit Sir Official. And now I am going to discuss some important questions based on section D, textbook or concern. First, I move to the short answer type questions. प्यारे बच्चों, अगर आप तक हो सीख आज हम उसका चर्चा करेंगे. जिसमें महत्वपूर्ण बिंदुओं पे ध्यान दिया जाए. तो द लास्ट लेसन से क्वेश्चंस इम्पोर्टेंट है जो आपको ऑलरेडी मेंशन किए गए. इसमें पहला आपका है व्हाट हैपेंड व्हेन द क्लॉक स्ट्रक 12. क्या हुआ जब चर्च की घड़ी में 12 बजे. शॉर्ट आंसर टाइप क्वेश्चंस हैं. तो व्हेन द चर्च क्लॉक स्ट्रक 12, यम हेमन stood in his chair and wrote as long as possible. Vive la France. And he looked very downcast, and he indicated the students with his gesture, saying that the class was over and they might go. तो ये आपका जो है इस पार्ट से शॉर्ट आंसर टाइप का एक क्वेश्चन था. ये सीरीज हम बना रहे हैं जिसमें अथवा करके है. ओ आर करके आपका ये जो क्वेश्चन है वो इस प्रकार से है. हाउ कैन यू से दैट चंपारण एपिसोड प्रूव टू बी ए टर्निंग पॉइंट इन गांधीज लाइफ. ये जब 60 में पूछा जाएगा तो इसकी पृष्ठभूमि कुछ यूं रहेगी. चंपारण एपिसोड प्रूव टू बी ए टर्निंग पॉइंट इन गांधीज लाइफ because it made him famous not only all over in India but also different parts of the world there. And it made him a champion among India and the people trusted on him. And this victory laid the foundation of India's independence. Question number 2. What makes Mukesh an innocent Firozabad? Mukesh was born in the family of bangle makers. He decides to be a motor mechanic and to drive a car, which was totally different from other people in the society of Hyderabad, as they were in this Douglas carried the fear of deep water with him. Whenever he visited to the the writer William O. Douglas learned swimming, and after a constant practice to go in deep water in the dangerous lakes, after a constant practice for months, he succeeded to overcome his fear of deep water. So these are the questions based on the short answer type questions. And now we move to the long answer type questions based on the prose section. Why did the peddler call the word a big red trap? How long do you satisfied with the title The Red Trap? Once the peddler got an idea in his mind when he was on his selling rounds. The whole world is nothing a big red trap because it offers the living beings food, clothing, shelter, sorrows, and joys, and other things. As a rat is offered a piece of cheese and pork to entrap it. As anyone touches the bait, everything comes to an end. So the peddler justify the word a big rat trap. In this story, we find that the peddler himself set in the trap by the crafter who sold him 30 kroner bills. But the peddler stole the money from the crafter's house. At the same time, he decided to travel not by the highway but through the forest. When the peddler forgot the way in the forest to come out of it, he realized his own saying, the word is nothing but big red trap. And hence the story turns to the title The Big Red Trap. But finally, the peddler got the way out, and it was Idla Williamson who helped him to uplift a good man. Thus, the story justified the title but an entertaining way. And the, my story is just a metaphor, not a real one. It is a metaphorical title for the lesson. Now we come to the session OR. In this session, in this section OR, आई मीन सिर्फ इसका हम अथवा करेंगे. तो डेफिनेटली एक जो क्वेश्चन हमारा बनता है, हु वाज कोठा मंगलम सुब्बू? Why were the other members jealous of him in Gemini Studios? Kotha Mangalam Subbu was a Maratha by Brahmin, and he was at number 2 in Gemini Studios, where he was always close at the boss. He was a man by virtue with the talent being a Brahman. Once the producer of the film asked him to create a scene. Then Kothamangalam Subbu returned with a 14 alternative how to produce the scene for this. That's why Kothamangalam Subbu wrote all the members in the Gemini studios. All the members in the Gemini studios were jealous because Kothamangalam Subbu was a very popular among them and always helped the people. The other members considered him a sycophant, so that's why they were jealous of him. And among them was the office boy, who always thought it was Kothamangalam Subbu who engaged him in the work of painting the crowd, and all his literary talents were dwarfing day by day and became useless. So these are the two long answer type questions. as far as the based on the prose section. Now we move to the poetry section where we have the some questions based on the lessons. And now I move to the poem Aunt Jennifer Tigers. In this important lesson, we have some lines and where there is a starting one, the stanza first, Aunt Jennifer Tigers, to with certainty. In this stanza, the question is who move on screen? पर्दे पर कौन चलते हुए दिखाई देते हैं? आंसर इज वेरी सिंपल. द Aunt Jennifer Tigress move on the screen with sleek and chivalry. Aunt Jennifer के जो बाग बनाए हुए हैं वो पर्दे पर बड़ी ही फुर्तीले और बहादुरी से चलते हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 इसमें इंडिकेट करता है हाउ डू दे मूव ऑन द स्क्रीन. वह इस स्क्रीन पर किस प्रकार गति करते हैं. तो दे मूव ऑन दिस स्क्रीन विथ स्लीक एंड शिवालरी. वह इस पर्दे पर बहादुरी से और फुर्तीले रूप से गति करते हैं. फिर कह रहा है अगले क्वेश्चन में व्हाई डू दे फील सिक्योर एंड फियरलेस. वह सुरक्षित और निर्भीक क्यों महसूस करते हैं. दे फील सिक्योर और फियरलेस बिकॉज दे आर कंसीडर्ड द नोबलेस्ट क्रिएचर ऑफ द फॉरेस्ट. वह अपने आप को इस जंगल के सर्वश्रेष्ठ और संभ्रांत प्राणियों में अपने आप को गिनते हैं, इसीलिए वे वहां पर निर्भीक होकर के घूमते हैं. So these are the questions based on Aunt Jennifer Tigers. As far as the central idea is concerned, the beginning two poetry poems are considered important, and it is very easy to find both of them. Keeping Quiet and My Mother's Secret. I think a bit also, but I think if we can prepare My Mother and 66 and Keeping Quiet, we can go through the exam easily. And now I move to the supplementary section where there is the question from the third level. The important question and also the hit like that. What was Charlie's idea of the third level? How did Sam explain it? चार्ली का तीसरा तत्व का विचार क्या था और सैम ने उसको कैसे एक्सप्लेन किया. Charlie's idea of the third level was his assumption of mind, which he realizes at Grand Central Building in New York railway station, finding the ideology of the third level, which looked old looking at that time, like the 19th century. Charlie's psychiatric friend Sam explained his idea of the third level is his waking dream, his wish fulfillment, and escape from the reality because the modern world is full of doubt, fear, anxiety, war, insecurity, etc. अब इसका अगर हम ओ आर अथवा करके देखें तो डेफिनेटली जो आपका क्वेश्चन बनता है डिस्क्राइब द एनवायरमेंटल फीचर ऑफ अंटार्कटिका. अंटार्कटिका की जो पर्यावरणीय विशेषता है उसके बारे में बताइए. अंटार्कटिका इज द कोल्डेस्ट, windiest, and the driest continent in the world. It was a warm place in the beginning known as Gondwana, and now it is a very cold place where there are many geospheres and there is no trace of earthly creatures on this earth. As far as the days and nights are concerned, are longer, and there is a thick layer of carbon dioxide, and the creatures like penguin, seal, and walrus are there. It is the perfect place in the world as far as the research are concerned. We can feel uh, different types of ecospheres here. फिर अगर हम क्वेश्चन नंबर 2 में आए, हाउ डिड द टाइगर किंग रिटेन हिज किंगडम. टाइगर किंग ने अपने राज्य को किस प्रकार बचाया. When the British officer got angry as the Maharaja refused him to have a photograph with the hunted tiger, and this made him ins- to feel insulted and got angry. But at this, the Maharaja had to cost 3 lakh rupees to send the 50 samples of the diamond ring to the British officer's wife. British officer's wife got happy and thanked the Maharaja and succeeded to get her husband to give up the idea of hunting the tiger in Padmanpuram. Thus the Maharaja retained his kingdom. फिर उसका इसका अगर OR आ रहा है तो उसमें आएगा Who was Sadao? How did Sadao and Hana get married? Sadao was a, an um, Sadao was a Japanese. He was a medical student. Once he was invited to an American professor's house where Hana was already there. Both talked to each other and finally became a friends. And after a long time, when Sadao and she returned to Japan, Sadao's father arranged the marriage Japanese way and both get married. So these are the short answer type questions based on as far as the supplementary and prose and poetry are concerned. Now I move to the long answer type, which is also a very important one. Describe Sadao as a humanist, as a doctor, and as a patriot. How did he honor all these values in this important story? Shadao was a Japanese doctor. Once Shadao and Hana saw an American soldier sailing, rather flirting in seawater near their house. After a long discussion, they decided to get him out of the sea and finally kept in their house. Westerdow, after a long discussion, thought of treating the white man as the American professor taught him to treat a man without any difference on the basis of race, culture, religion, or country. Hence, Sadao operated the white man and saved his life and proved himself a good surgeon, a good doctor. And the next, when he got him recovered, he reported to the old general about the white man's presence in his house and told him the whole story, what had happened that night. And as a humanist, when Sadao found an opportunity that the old general was unable to kill the white man, he once again arranged a boat for him and all the belongings to live till he reached America, and finally, with his help, the white man, an American soldier, succeeded to get his country back. Hence, we can say Shadao proved himself in different ways as a doctor, as a humanist, and also as a patriot. अब इसके ओर में आते हैं तो सीधे हो जाएगा आपका गिव ए कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ मिस्टर लैम। मिस्टर लैम के का चरित्र चित्रण कीजिए। तो आप आंसर में लिखेंगे कैरेक्टर स्केच ऑफ मिस्टर लैम। फिर लिखेंगे देयर आर द फॉलोइंग पॉइंट्स टू डिस्क्राइब मिस्टर लैम्स कैरेक्टर। द फर्स्ट वन इज पहले पहले लाइन में आप हेडिंग डालेंगे अ काइंड हार्टेड मैन, एक दयालु स्वभाव वाले आदमी। मिस्टर लैम इज अ काइंड हार्टेड मैन। He allows all the children and other people to enter his garden and also enjoy the fruits and playing there. He himself makes toffees from the honey and offers the children to eat. दूसरी हेडिंग आप डालेंगे ए मेच्योर्ड मैन, एक परिपक्व व्यक्ति। When Derry enters Mr. Lamb's garden and argues with him, he never gets angry, rather tries to explain a different types of examples to try to get him positive in life. And when Derry blames Mr. Lamb, calling him different names, but Mr. Lamb does not get angry and laughs at him and allows him to convey all his ideas. और लास्ट की जो आपकी तीसरी हेडिंग है, ए गुड मेंटर और मोटिवेटर। मिस्टर लैम, though he is disabled with one leg, but finally he has the capacity to get himself every possible way in this reference. And finally, he succeeded Derry to make him positive, and he challenges Derry to visit his garden. And this challenge a turning point for Derry. And I hope you will try to do your best in the oncoming examination and finding an opportunity. Once again, I shall back to your next session, and I hope I shall meet you between 1 to 1:40 onwards. Till then, good night. Wish you a happy and plentiful enjoyment moment. जो नए लोग हैं वो कृपया चैनल को सब्सक्राइब करेंगे, शेयर करेंगे और थोड़ा प्रोत्साहन के लिए आप लोग पूरी कोशिश करेंगे। थैंक्स फॉर वॉचिंग। सी यू लेटर।